Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday to Thursday. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand Centennial World. Welcome to Mini Scroll, everyone. Oh my God, this has felt like a seriously long time coming. I am so excited to be bringing you guys my daily podcast. I've been thinking about doing a daily podcast now for quite a while, for honestly a couple of years. Some of my favorite podcasts have been daily podcasts. Sorry, I just ran up my stairs because I'm like running late to get this going. And now I'm like so out of breath. But yes, I have been thinking about doing a daily podcast for a long time. It just never really made sense. And then now with the opportunity to be kind of doing things on my own, in my own schedule, on my own program, I just thought, why not? Why not bring you guys the news every single day for internet culture? So the way that this will work is Monday to Thursday, with the exception obviously of this week because it was Easter. But Monday to Thursday, I will bring you between 1 and 3 stories. So these will be stories that are on the internet, on TikTok, on YouTube, in the creator economy, social media, whatever it is. Today, I do have 3 stories for you guys because it's the long weekend and it's the first episode. I wanted to kick it off with a bang. But yes, that will be the schedule every single day. It will be like the top story or 2 or 3 that you need to know from the day before. As you guys know, if you've listened to our podcast for a long time, sometimes there's so much news happening and sometimes there's not a lot. So that's kind of what the general plan will be. And the episodes will be between 10 and 15 minutes, and they will be much chattier, much more off the cuff than Infinite Scroll. If you listen to Infinite Scroll, then you will have already heard all of this over the last couple of weeks with me teasing Mini Scroll. But yes, that is the plan. So I am so excited to be doing this. Please, if you like this episode, if you like the idea of Mini Scroll, a daily podcast, it will mean so much to me if you could rate, review, and subscribe. It will help my podcast grow, the YouTube channel grow. I'm going to be posting all of these episodes as well on TikTok, on our Infinite Scroll podcast TikTok. So that will be 10 minutes from the episode. Ideally, these episodes will be 10 minutes long, but sometimes I'm sure they'll be over, especially if I end up talking about content that I watched or whatever. But anyways, the bulk of the episode, the meat of the episode will be on TikTok every single day as well. So the first story that I have for you guys today is that Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter is causing a divide on TikTok. So on March 29th, Beyoncé released her 8th studio album, Cowboy Carter, the second installment in her trilogy of albums. Interesting tidbit here, Beyoncé said she originally planned to release Cowboy Carter ahead of Renaissance in 2022, but the quote heaviness of the pandemic led her to change the order of albums. In a statement on Instagram, Beyoncé said that Cowboy Carter took her 5 years to create and that the album was, quote, born out of an experience that I had years ago when I did not feel welcomed, and it was very clear that I wasn't. Though she didn't say exactly what this experience was, it's likely she's referring to her 2016 appearance at the CMA Awards, where she performed Daddy Lessons off her album Lemonade alongside the Dixie Chicks, who are now known as the Chicks. Beyoncé received racist backlash for this performance, and these racists also called to boycott the CMAs. After her performance, the CMAs wiped all mention of Beyoncé from their website. Though Beyoncé finished her Instagram post by saying, quote, "This ain't a country album, this is a Beyoncé album," many fans see this album as a response to that racist experience. Despite sharing this experience with us, TikTokers are at it with the rage bait. Now, I don't want to go too much into what people are specifically saying about the album because that's really not the point. But for the context of this story, what you need to know is that there has been a lot of comparison between Cowboy Carter and Tortured Poets Department, which is Taylor Swift's new album that is not even out yet, okay? So creator Hope Sloop discussed this on TikTok. I don't want to take credit for this opinion, but comparing Beyoncé's album to Taylor Swift's, which we haven't even heard yet, is so dismissive of what Beyoncé literally just told us in her Instagram post. She told us that the album was born out of feeling ostracized and not welcomed in a certain space, and that space presumably being the whitewashed world of country music. So comparing her and her album to Taylor, who is a white girl with country music origins, after she just released this incredibly vulnerable body of work and opened up about the experience that inspired that body of work, like, we're literally proving her point here. So you are the reason that she made this album. Stop it. Stop comparing Beyoncé and Taylor Swift. It feels so off. It's so icky. And it's so inappropriate, especially in the context of what Beyoncé has told us about this album and comparing it to an album that doesn't even fucking exist yet. The next story is that Billie Eilish is facing backlash for comments she made in a new Billboard article. I have a really hard time saying Billboard. Billboard. I am actually working on my pronunciation and how I speak on the podcast because it's so freaking annoying. Anyways, Billie Eilish and her mother were profiled by Billboard about their sustainability initiatives. The piece was definitely press for her joint project with Reverb, which is called the Music Decarbonization Project, which, quote, aims to ultimately eliminate carbon emissions created by the music industry. The profile was published over the weekend, and the singer immediately faced backlash for allegedly throwing shade at Taylor Swift. Again, why do all roads lately lead back to Taylor Swift? So she said in this article, quote, "We live in this day and age where for some reason it's very important to some artists to make all sorts of vinyl and packaging, which ups the sales and ups the numbers and gets them more money and gets them more, I can't even express to you how wasteful it is. It is right in front of our faces and people are just getting away with it left and right. And I find it really frustrating as somebody who really goes out of my way to be sustainable and do the best that I can and try to involve everybody in my team in being sustainable. And then it's some of the biggest artists in the world making fucking 40 different vinyl packages that have a different unique thing just to keep you buying more. It's so wasteful and it's irritating to me that we're still at a point where you care that much about your numbers and you care that much about money making and it's all your favorite artists doing that shit." She kind of popped off there. Like, it's literally so true. That was a criticism when Taylor first announced her new album, and then she started immediately releasing these new editions. I think she has 4 or 5 now that she's released. And, you know, her comments, honestly, like her comments have been turned off on Taylor Swift, like the official Taylor Swift Instagram, but Taylor Nation have the comments turned on, and people are just flooding those comments, just saying like, this is so wasteful, like even fans being like, I'm a huge Swiftie, but this just feels like a cash grab. I'm just going to wait for the deluxe edition. I'm just going to wait for the stream on Spotify. Like, this is so unnecessary. So this is definitely part of a bigger conversation that people have been having, not just about Taylor Swift, but, you know, celebrities in general. But this is definitely, like, there's a big spotlight on Taylor Swift right now with her private jet stuff and now all of like her different album releases. So this quote by Billie got the Swifties up in arms, thinking Billie was going after Taylor, given, like I said, that so many of her albums have numerous editions with different vinyls, packaging, and merch associated. And then yesterday, Billie took to Instagram to address the backlash. She wrote on Instagram stories, quote, "Okay, so it would be awesome if people would stop putting words into my mouth and actually read what I said in that Billboard article. I wasn't singling anyone out. These are industry-wide systemic issues, and when it comes to variants, so many artists release them, including me, which I clearly state in the article. The climate crisis is now, and it's about all of us being part of the problem and trying to do better. Sheesh." I mean, yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's actually pretty great that somebody who is as successful as Billie in the music industry is having these conversations, whether it's kind of like PR-y or not, whatever. I think drawing attention to them and making fans consider what their faves are kind of doing and the impact that the music industry has on the environment, which is massive. We actually talked a little bit about that on our Taylor Swift episode a few weeks ago with Crystal. But yes, like I think it's actually quite impactful for it to come from somebody like Billie because she is so popular. She's so successful. She's top of her game. And she's very culty. Like, she has like that Gen Z fan base that every artist is constantly trying to get. Okay, and the last story that I have for you guys is the man who allegedly punched women in the face in New York City has been arrested after a viral TikTok video. So last week, TikTok influencer Halley Kate posted a series of videos sharing that she had been punched in the face while walking on the sidewalk in Chelsea in New York City. Halley said she was looking at her phone when the attack happened. Quote, "You guys, I was literally just walking and a man came up and punched me in the face," she said while showing like a big goose egg on her forehead. She said, "Oh my God, it hurts so bad. I can't even talk. Literally, I fell to the ground and now this giant goose egg is forming." She also said when she fell to the ground that she blacked out for a second and the man was like standing over her screaming at her. And it seemed to be that he was very irritated that she was on her phone. Halley's video has shed light on at least 12 other posts by women over the past month on TikTok claiming that the same thing happened to them while walking in New York City. One day after Halley's video went viral, the NYPD announced that they had arrested a man in connection with her assault, 40-year-old Skaboki Stora, who has also built himself a TikTok presence, primarily through videos where he intentionally harasses and follows women, seemingly in an effort to scare them. So it does seem in this case, with all the women coming forward, that there is more than one puncher, like quote unquote. But I think he is a frequent perpetrator. And obviously the content that he posts publicly for people to see is already super scary, super problematic. However, I wanted to touch really quickly on the reception that Halley received for posting this, because basically she posted like a few different videos talking about the experience and then sharing like the follow-up of, you know, her going to the police station, her going to urgent care, all this stuff. And then I think it was either the same day or it was the next day, she posted a video kind of making light of the situation. Like she was on the street pretending to walk basically like without using her phone. And I don't have the exact video here, but I think the caption said something like me, you know, walking undistracted, aware of my surroundings or whatever, because that was like the issue that this man had, is that she was on her phone apparently, or that's the issue that he's at least claiming that he has. It's obviously just like an excuse to, you know, commit violence against women, but whatever. So people have been really unsupportive, or like they don't really like the fact that she's been making fun of it and it was so quick. And I saw like her comments just blew up with people being like, this is way too soon. Is this even real if you're already making fun of it and all this stuff? And to that, I just feel like it's obviously real. Like this man, like they found security footage of him. That's how they arrested him. So it obviously did happen. I think it's really fucked up to like question if we think that happened to her or not. But I think we can't really police how people deal with situations like this. Like if you were randomly attacked like that so violently in the street as a woman, I think it would take a really long time to actually process what had happened to you. And I think it's okay to make jokes about things like that when it's at your own expense and it's like it's something that happened to you. I think it's part of her like coping, it's part of her processing. Obviously, she took to TikTok to share the whole thing anyways. We feel like we can police how we expect people to react to things that happen to them. And if they react in a way that we feel uncomfortable with, or we feel like we wouldn't do it that way, then automatically, oh, they're a liar. This doesn't add up to me. This must not be true. This was all just for clout and attention. And I think the naysayers, they have been put to bed, like put to rest, put to bed, whatever that saying is, because obviously he has been arrested and I don't think there's any questions anymore if this actually happened or not. But the initial reaction to Halley like making light of this just rubbed me the wrong way. So I think that's something to think about. Like when there's these kind of conspiracies going on TikTok about, you know, is this really true or not? Like it's valid to question if what we see online is real or not, if it's just rage bait, if it's clickbait, whatever. But I think there needs to be an element of empathy there as well. And we need to consider, like, yes, just because she might not be reacting the way that we would react in that situation doesn't mean that it's not true. Okay? Okay. Well, that is it for the first episode of Mini Scroll. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. It helps me so much. I love you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.